Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with James Waters from the Canton Film Festival today. Good morning.
Good morning, Susie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being here. And some people still may not know that we have a Canton Film Festival, which is an awesome film festival. How long have you been doing this?
So this is the 6th year that we've had the Canton Film Festival. So it looks like it's going to be the probably most attended as well. We've had over 100 submissions for the short films. We have a great film lineup that I'm going to talk to you about today. And, hopefully we can get some good audience members to see some different types of films.
First of all, when's it taking place?
So it will be taking place at the Canton Palace Theater, April 27th through 29th of this month.
What a venue.
Oh, it's beautiful there.
Do people come from where? Are these local filmmakers? Are they from all over the country, all over the world? Where are you getting them from?
So we literally get submissions from all over the world.
That's amazing.
And then in attendance, like our special guests are usually, from coast to coast. And then when they walk into the theater, they're pretty amazed by just the ornate detail, the upkeep of the theater. I mean, they really do a nice job of making that place special.
Oh, yeah. I would think a filmmaker would just love to be in this one because of the Canton Palace Theater. It's just the best place to see your movie.
Oh, 100%. And the screen's amazing. Robert Redford's festival in Colorado, I had a filmmaker who screened a film there. It was like they wish they had a theater there versus Sundance. Like Sundance is a small community. It's a big fun mixer, but it's like theater-wise, he was very, just crazy excited to be shown at the Canton Palace. So.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it is amazing the difference in seeing a film on the kind of screen that was created when a movie house was a movie house, not when it was a multiplex. Mm-hmm. And so there's just a difference between seeing something on a big screen and seeing something on a big screen, yes?
Yes, 100%. And then that's the nice part about the festival, too, because I think a lot of amateur filmmakers, for our shorts categories, it's a great opportunity for them to see their work on a big screen because they're probably used to showing stuff. Probably the biggest thing they show something on is a big screen television, like 60-inch TV, mm-hmm. versus like it being seen in a theater in that environment. So.
And the Palace Theater, even though it's a historical theater, has really kept up technology-wise that can play the newer things. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago that, when all the theaters had to go digital, they, re-upped. I think it was probably $100,000 projector and the player, so then they're able to, get the new movies in, plug them in, play them the right way. All the above. And I know they've upgraded their sound in there as well, too.
It is. It's just amazing. It's just a wonderful experience just to see a film there. And we're going to get to see a whole bunch of really good films there, April 27th through 29th. Is it too late if someone has a film in their back pocket that they would like to enter?
So, unfortunately, we are past the entry dates. But we did receive over 100 entries for the 6 categories that we have for this year. So
are we going to see all 100, or do you narrow them down?
So they'll be narrowed down through a series of judges that have certain requirements, for things to fit in. We try to make the short films 15 minutes or less so we can show as many of them as possible.
What all categories do you have?
So we have documentary. We added a new category this year, the Stark Color Picture Prize, which Andrew Rudd from Malone College had created. So he's got some entries that should play on Thursday night, but we have to make sure those meet all the criteria. We have the horror category, scary movies kind of mixed in with action, sci-fi, and fantasy. Mm-hmm. We have music video and a overall narrative kind of fiction category as well.
How does it work as far as deciding which of the films to show? Because that's really hard. Someone's put their blood, sweat, and tears into something, and you have to decide, and be the meanie, decide who gets to be on and who does not. So, how do you do that?
So it's literally sent through, as long as they meet the initial criteria of 15 minutes or less. and then it's sent through the series of judges to see like what ranks highest, and we literally just try to show the highest ranking film. So this year will probably be the biggest problem that we've had, that we're not going to be able to fit as many people as we'd like to into the festival. So,
but it's a good problem, isn't it?
That's a better problem than not having enough things to show and nobody's showing up anyway. So,
where do you get your judges?
A lot of people are people that work in the industry. Some people have been some of our past guests that are willing to be judges. Professors that do teach like film and video in local college around and stuff like that.
So somebody that really knows what they're doing.
Yeah, so they can tell the difference.
You in the past have brought in some amazing guests. Talk about who's been here.
So from our first year, which is amazing, Drew Daywalt had come in, and he was a screenwriter first in Hollywood, and then he had went through a spell where he directed scary movies. And then after our film festival, he wrote a kid's book called The Day the Crayons Quit. And then he was on the New York Times bestseller list, I think, for the longest running picture book.
Wow.
Which is not, so, and he grew up in Twinsburg, so, more proof that anybody from anywhere can do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and he kind of had a big transition between all the waves of, his career as a writer to a director to, a kid's book.
Yes.
So I believe Disney's making a movie
of The Day the Crayons Quit?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then he can retire forever.
You would think.
Wow. Okay, and you brought Nick Pastay, I think?
Yep. So, and, he was the writer of Ramona and Beezus. I believe it was his uncle who used to teach film and video at Glen Oak and at Malone. So, I mean, there's just so much talent that comes from this area, that gets out there and gets a chance to make, good films. And
with so many movies this year, do you have room for a special guest speaker, or are we going to focus on the movies this year?
So we have a ton of special guest speakers this year, too.
Cool.
So
all right.
That's the other little mix. So I can kind of walk you through the schedule of
That'd be great.
Events.
Let's start from the beginning and let's just talk about it.
So basically, I believe Thursday, and all this information can be found at the Palace's website, cantonpalacetheater.org. Thursday, we're going to showcase, Andrew Rudd's going to release a film called Safety Net, which he shot last year.
And that is an amazing project. Can you just give people who might not be familiar with Safety Net a bit of the background of what that was? It's heart-wrenching.
Well, it sounds like I think you might know more about it than I do.
I think it was a family going through a tough time.
Yeah, so it's basically the main character, Jerry, is about to lose his house, and he's trying to do anything and everything to find a job that, he can stop the foreclosure on his house. Mm-hmm. So then his wife's about to have a baby. I mean, it's very dramatic, very well made, and like you really connect to the Jerry character and like hope he succeeds. So,
and it was just too common of a story for this area for such a long time. It's interesting
100%.
that somebody really addressed it this way.
And this is just a shorter piece to a bigger project that I believe Andrew wants to do too. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a great chance to kind of have, to him it's kind of a pre-screening and kind of get a feel what people say,
Before you go on to the other things we can look forward to, does that happen often? Do people put together a short to kind of be almost an audition or a test to see how it would work out as a feature film?
100%. So a lot of times people will do that, especially kind of in the indie movie circuit, for a chance to get financing. This short really radiates with an audience, and there's been a couple movies that from shorts they've been, invested in a couple $1 million to make the full feature.
So cool.
Yeah, so that's a win. So I think shorts are very important as like a pitch piece, number one. And then to also gauge the interest and to make sure that, your investors realize that you're capable of making a high quality product.
It's so much smarter to have a visual that people can see, and as you call a pitch piece, rather than just go in and pitch this great idea.
Oh, yeah.
That they might be seeing it differently than you're seeing it anyway.
100%. So this will, actually give them a chance to like feel what Jerry's feeling, have these, high and low dramatic moments. So I think that's definitely a film worthwhile to listen, and then we'll be able to listen to Andrew and have some Q&A with him afterwards too.
And that's the first day you're talking?
So that's the very first evening, which is Thursday the 27th. And then following Andrew's film will be a main feature called Romeo is Bleeding. And then we have one of the actors from the film called Dante Clark will be there, and then Michael Seifert from Cleveland, who is the music composer to the film, will also be he'll at least be in the audience. He's kind of a shy guy. I don't know if he'll go up on stage or not. But
and this one is the featured film for that evening?
Yeah, because it's a longer run film. I believe it runs at like an hour and a half. And it's kind of based on the violence and heartbreak that happens in some different neighborhoods in Richmond, California. And it's kind of like what the youth have to go through. And, it's going to leave you feeling something, and then hopefully it, can have a positive effect for the city of Canton too, so which will be nice.
Nice. Okay, that's Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay, what is next?
So then on Friday, just pull up my schedule, we'll be showing Jeremy Andrew Davis's fan film, Contract Redemption, which he shot a couple years ago and then got the full edit and some special effects done.
Describe the concept of a fan film.
So, say you're a fan of Star Wars, right? So then you could like reenact a scene, that you're creating the lightsaber battles and all that kind of stuff, or you create a whole new character that happens to live in the Star Wars universe, and you kind of follow through their story, but you try to give it that Star Wars feel, whether it's the opening credits, coming at an angle and a land far long ago, or those desert scenes or any of that kind of stuff. So
something like Rogue One that came out that was, I think, every bit as good as any of the sequels that actual Star Wars came up with. Rogue One that took me back to the magic of the first one.
Oh, 100%.
Was that like a fan film that they did on a big scale?
So probably to some degree. So probably when George Lucas made, Star Wars, like he made a whole universe. So he had a million stories involved in the Star Wars universe. So Rogue One was kind of a preset to like what then happens at Star Wars. So somehow he decided to not start with like chapter 1. I'm starting at 5, and then that's when he went back and made Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
And it's like it ends just before Star Wars begins.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, that was so good.
And they just so many little tidbits. And I always get happy to see R2-D2. I don't know, it's my favorite probably in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Seeing R2-D2 on the big screen.
Yes. And to see them meet for the first time.
Yeah.
And to see, all those things before Princess Leia puts the plans inside one of those little guys but you're seeing them before that happens.
Yep.
And it's just, it was so fun. Yeah, okay, don't get me going on that one. But that whole idea of anybody can, and this is legal, anybody can make a fan film for these kinds of festivals?
Well, this is more of like showcasing. So Jeremy's considered like a special guest for that Friday night. And it's kind of more featuring his special effects, and then gives us a chance to talk about he had a lot of stunts, like stunt people that were in his film. So he's going to kind of talk about that process.
And he's a fan of what? What's his fan film based on?
So I believe it's an assassin film.
Oh,
that was based
Jeremy.
on yeah, right. That was based on a video game. So it's a very like shoot 'em up kind of thing. But
thank you, and which brings up this question: what would you rate, or does it vary from film to film? What would you rate them as far as movie ratings for families that are planning to come to the Canton Film Festival?
So I would definitely stick with like the PG-13.
Okay.
And then just kind of be aware, any of the scary movies, they might be, overly dramatic. There isn't necessarily the standard rating systems for a lot of these things. The bigger films, are more rated. The documentaries, but I would say that PG-13 up, I would be comfortable.
Okay, so buyer beware when you're coming to a film festival.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we need to take a short break, but we're speaking with James Waters from the Canton Film Festival. You're listening to Our Community.